What do I call you?
Xingqi.
Xingqi.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, not
yeah.
XQ or... Okay,
That's
Xingqi.
fine. SQ is fine. Yeah, Xingqi is fine.
Okay, Xingqi is fine.
Fine with everything. Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
That's a pleasure.
This
Thank
is
you for having me here.
This weekday afternoon. We have Poh Li San, MP for Sembawang GRC in the house. I think we have a lot of questions for you, Li San. We all noticed that moment. I think was it last weekend when you were on the ground at Sembawang West, and you saw Dr. Chee.
2 weekends.
2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, and we noticed that iconic handshake. Could I say that? Yeah. I wonder what was it like meeting him on the ground for you then?
No, it's actually quite a surprise for me. We didn't expect there's a big group of members from SDP to be there, and
Right.
certainly they expect to see Dr. Chee. But well, as a courtesy, we were doing our walkabout, so went over to give you a handshake.
Yeah, I was actually
hi to
reading the comments. I think it left quite a positive impression. I mean, both sides. It's like this is a way to kind of behave publicly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to see such pleasantries on the ground. Could I ask you, when did you kind of become aware that there's this possibility of him contesting at that SMC?
Well, actually, it was the day itself when it was released in the news.
Right.
Yeah, so I read about it and was surprised that he left his commitment in Bukit Batok for Sembawang West.
Right. He mentioned about, of course, the EBRC report, right? And saying that, hey, there's no Bukit Batok SMC because of the boundaries have been redrawn. That's why he decided to go into Sembawang. I guess it's quite a challenge, for you to be going up against an opposition figure that is quite prominent. Yeah.
Well, regardless, I'll do my best. I'll give my very best and go all out to stand the GE and win.
Yeah.
So just like in sports competition, just do my best. And for me, typically I do better. I perform better under pressure, under challenge. And this is not new to me because, in my career in the Air Force, previously I had also participated in many missions as a helicopter pilot.
Right.
So challenges are not new to me, and I'll just stay really focused and give my best to do the job, do it well.
Would you say this is one of the, I guess, toughest challenges so far for you?
Well, there are many different types of challenges in life.
Right.
So we don't think too much. We just stay focused and take it on and do our best to handle it.
I mean, we are making a lot of assumptions now because you may or may not be fielded there, right? Because we're rocking the ground, but we are just making this assumption that it's your ward and you will be contesting there. Of course, I guess the recent common refrain is the PM will decide. But given the choice, would you want to contest in the GRC or SMC?
Oh, I definitely want to stay where my residents are.
Right.
So even this time, Sembawang West is carved out as a SMC.
Yeah.
I would want to stay in the SMC and continue to take care of my residents. I mean, I may stand as a SMC in the SMC for the GE, but I'm not alone. I still have my entire Sembawang family behind me. So I think that's something that is very assuring for the residents that our team will continue to work together.
Right.
To take good care of them.
Right. What is one difference you might foresee, running in a SMC and versus a GRC?
Let's put it this way. The last 2020 GE, that was my first foray into politics, and that time I was contesting in Sembawang GRC. And I guess the residents at that time voted for us based on faith, based on confidence in the entire Sembawang GRC. But this time around, it's a bit different. They'll be voting based on what I have done in the last 5 years for them, for the community, for the estate. So actually, I think this time round, it will be a good, I suppose, opportunity for my residents to decide what works, who has put in the effort and for the improvements that have been made, and for those who had been assisted. I think this would be where they would, I believe my residents would be very fair-minded and also be very wise when it comes to the polling box when they make the decision. Yeah. And I think this is where a lot of the work and also the connections and also the time spent with our residents the last 5 years would be something that they remember. And actually there are many stories or many good cases that I could share that the last 5 years that we have done for our Sembawang, and I think that's where our residents will be able to tell the difference.
Right. If I recall correctly, there's something called Sayang Sembawang.
Yes. Sayang Sembawang was actually 2015. And then 2020 was Make Sembawang Special. Yeah.
Okay.
But within Sembawang West, because we are a little bit different within the whole GRC, every division is a little bit different. So within Sembawang West, my vision was to shape our community to be caring and green, and the town to be our community to be caring and healthy, and our town to be green and safe. So the last 5 years we've been, putting up our initiatives, our programs were all along these 4 pillars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can certainly say that after 5 years, we can see the vibrancy, the kind of community spirit growing in Sembawang West. Yeah. And in fact, just the caring bit, many touching stories, many heartwarming stories, and cases that have touched me a lot as well. And that motivates me. And
I guess you entered politics in a kind of different time. Right? I think 2020 there wasn't any rallies. You did online rallies.
Yes.
So this time around, I think rallies are back. I don't know whether there will be a revenge rally kind of syndrome. Like let's go out
this time round
and be wild.
Probably fighting both fronts in terms of both online as well as on ground.
So
fiscal rally.
I mean, just curious also, how do you prepare for that? Because it's such a kind of visceral experience. Your crowd there, you have people cheering, and I think there is that kind of sense of people may get carried away sometimes.
Yeah. I guess this will be my first experience speaking in a public fiscal rally.
Yeah.
But I would say it's not from 0 to 100, because the last 5 years in our engagement with our residents, there are so many events, and I will speak on stage to hundreds of people, and that's something that over time picked up the kind of experience, and also how do I engage speaking to public speaking to audience. And it's even better when you see that audience are familiar faces, people who you know, and we are able to connect with them and directly talk to them. So if you speak from the heart, I think that would make it a lot easier. It's not like memorizing something and trying to deliver a speech, but it's really speaking to the audience, speaking to our residents, and asking them to support us, to support me, and give their vote to me.
Well, I don't want to generalize things, but traditionally speaking, the opposition rallies are always very packed, very crowded. For PAP rallies, I guess things are more subdued, and maybe a smaller crowd. I think sports also. Sportsmen, they would like to, I guess, perform or challenge or compete in the with audience, right?
Yeah.
Because it fits them, the kind of energy. Would you think that this is not so positive experience you may have because it's a smaller crowd, and yeah, I guess you will see some supporters, but how do you keep that kind of energy level going?
At the end of the day, to me, there is a message, and the message is for my residents. The opposition parties' rallies typically may attract people from all over the island because I guess every 5 years you have this one opportunity to attend this kind of rah-rah kind of public rally. So there will be a lot of people going for the various opposition parties' rallies. So, well, that's fine, individual's choice. But for me, my focus is to share the message I want to share with my residents. And that is where our rally's objective is, and that's where our focus is.
Right, right. So you're clear-minded about things. So this is the objective.
Yeah. And speaking to them in different languages also. It's not just English, right? Because a lot of them, like maybe seniors or Chinese educated, or maybe our Malay seniors who may understand Malay language better than English. So it's about connecting with them at the rally.
Right. So have you been
Hokkien maybe
trying out all these dialect or
yeah,
Malay?
I do.
Right.
I do.
So what do you speak?
I speak a couple of languages, so typically English, Mandarin, a little bit of Malay as well.
Right.
And also Hokkien, a little bit of Cantonese. So it depends. So when I do my house visits or MPS, switch around.
Right.
Depending on who the resident, what they're comfortable with at the end of the day.
Right. Okay. So I think we can expect that different languages to come out from your rallies.
Maybe a few, yeah.
Right. Do you get any, advice from, I guess, your anchor minister?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
As I mentioned earlier, we work as a team. So
Right.
even though I may be standing in Sembawang West as a SMC, I still have my teammates behind me from Sembawang GRC. A family of Sembawang GRC family is still behind me. So we work closely together and discuss how we should approach this GE and how should we engage our residents and get their support. So that's what we are working on now. And but of course this GE for me is also about sharing with our residents, our voters, not just who I am, but really what I have done for the community. And that's the important part that I will want to focus on sharing the plans, what I've done for the last 5 years, and it's very visible on ground. And also what we'll be planning to do in the next 5 years for the next term.
Got it. I guess people are also curious, right? Being what are the roles of being anchor ministers, like for Ong Ye Kung, how he leads the team. Maybe could you share with us something that about him that people don't really know? I mean, we all know that he is quite savvy online. With very nice TikTok videos, and I recall him doing the Taylor Swift thing. It's quite cute. And he has that kind of presence online.
Yeah.
But is there something else that you think people don't know about him?
I think he's a man of many talents. He's a really good artist.
Yes,
play music and he can do sports. And he's effectively bilingual. So in many ways, he's very an all-rounder, and also he has a sometimes very serious expression on his face. Actually, he's quite funny.
Right.
So maybe that's something that people don't really know.
Oh, he's quite a funny guy.
Yeah, he's quite a funny guy. He's quite a chill guy. So, yeah. Although he looks very serious.
Right, right. Yeah. I guess we can kind of sense that in some of his videos. Yeah. Just like to maybe talk more about your potential opponent. I mean, Dr. Chee. I think earlier you mentioned about him leaving Bukit Batok, and I think his response to that was about gerrymandering, EBRC, and accusing the party, the PAP, on that. I don't know whether you have any response to that kind of to the I guess what Dr. Chee's mentioned.
Well, I recall he had made a commitment to his Bukit Batok residents that he will stay there for them. So I would personally, I was expecting him to stay on and contest in the GRC because the residents he served are still in Bukit Batok. So yeah, really surprised that he made this shift. But anyhow, that's his strategy, and we will do our best to have this fair competition, and is to let our residents have a choice, decide for themselves who they would like to be their MP for the next 5 years, which team they want to continue to serve them, to work for them, to take good care of them.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to maybe hear from you. So, could you sympathize with his situation, I suppose, being on the ground for Bukit Batok SMC for a few years, and only for it to be subsumed under a GRC. Do you? I don't know. What do you feel about that for him?
Well, I guess he has a choice where he would like to contest. There is a choice to contest as a SMC or as a GRC. It's entirely up to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you think it's harder for the opposition to, I guess, find the talents to form to contest in a GRC? I suppose.
No, I don't think so. I think just last weekend,
Right.
SDP has announced to contest in Marsiling UT GRC, where the Prime Minister is based, and probably they would have more places that they may want to contest as a GRC. So they are quite a big party. So I think earlier on they also did mention that they will come to Sembawang GRC. So
Right.
I think this one will still be awaiting more developments, and I will suspend any judgment, and let's hear from the news. The announcements.
Got it. Him being in the political scene for so many years, I wonder. I mean, I want to hear from you. So, what do you think? I guess, in your opinion, is his strength?
Well, I would say maybe one thing, he's been there for quite a long time. Maybe his persistence may have won some hearts. So that may be one thing that stood out for me.
I think older Singaporeans, I think they may have a certain opinion of him, based on his previous style of politics. While younger Singaporeans may not remember or may not know about those days. What do you make of this situation?
Times change, and every generation have their own concerns, their own aspirations. So I suppose from the 90s, when certain groups of Singaporeans started to have a chance to vote, they would be more familiar with some of the maybe more senior politicians, be it in the main governing party or in the opposition parties. I mean, for example, in Workers' Party, names like Lau Tia Kiang still very familiar for many older Singaporeans. So I guess for Dr. Chee, that is likewise for some of the older Singaporeans who know about him. He may be more familiar, but my sense is younger Singaporeans may not be that familiar. Yeah.
I think I've asked about Dr. Chee's strength. I think it's only fair for me to ask you about your strength also.
Well, I would say I'm someone who is grounded, very grounded, because I always believe that action speaks louder than words. So you got to do the work, and the work will speak for itself. So for me, I focus on taking good care of the ground, attending to the needs of my residents, looking out for areas where I can make improvements. Also, many of my volunteers, residents have shared with me. They find that I'm a genuine person. So I joined politics really because I want to contribute, and I want to make an impact to the lives of people. And that's why I decided to step into this world of politics. and spend my time and energy here. So I want to really help people and help to take good care and build up a strong and united and, a very vibrant, healthy community wherever I'm being posted to. So in this case, that'll be Sembawang West. And I feel very connected with our residents here. Probably because, when I was in the Air Force, I was based in Sembawang Air Base. So this place always has a very special place in my heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to really see this very nice, people here are very down to earth, very friendly, very warm, and really take good care of this town and let it really blossom and really grow to be a really nice place to live in. And I guess a third attribute, maybe I would say a resilient person, because I'm one who will not shy away from hardship, from challenges, and probably because of my background from military, also my philosophy about, we need to solve problems, we need to put in the hard work, then we have to do it. And I'm somebody who will take on challenges, and if things don't go well or challenges come, even if it's difficult, bounce back and go on and continue to take it on. And I think from my sports also, that gives me that kind of that kind of strength, that kind of mental strength, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
What sports do you do? I mean, asking on behalf of a lot of colleagues, they were all very impressed by your your biceps and all that. So I'm just curious.
These days, mostly I do running,
Right.
which I've done for a long time since I was 13 years old.
Right.
I do a lot of hot yoga,
Hot yoga.
some cycling in the gym as well as swimming. So
a lot of cardio work.
mostly cardio, but of course the yoga helps to balance out the strength training and the flexibility training.
I see.
Yeah. So I make it a point every day. I wake up in the morning, first thing to do, get my workout done, start my engine before I go to work. And even when I'm traveling, be it for work, for leisure, I would always bring my gym gear and my running shoes with me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a commitment.
It's a daily thing.
Daily, every day.
Wow.
Every day.
Wow. Okay.
And it's not just sports, but it's also watching diet as well.
Oh, wow.
Eat clean.
Yeah. I suppose this is
A
something
lot of
that
veggies.
Min Ong is reminding you guys about, since he's the health minister.
Yeah. It's in line with what we are all encouraging people to eat healthily. Yeah. So for me, eat clean, eat healthy.
I guess let's dial back the clock a bit. Talk about your time in the RSAF and all. I mean, you mentioned about Sembawang Air Base and how Sembawang is such a, I think you have a special connection with the place, right? And then because you started out from there in your career, I think you've been asked this multiple times, I suppose. But what was it like being in a male-dominated workplace for you?
Sometimes it feels like the marathon race has started, but you're only joining about an hour later. So there's a lot of catch up to do. But regardless, I think the more important part is to be professional. Also to put in efforts to do my best and just work closely with the male counterparts. And I think to be genuine, they respect me for that, and we all work very well together. So I don't usually think too much about being female in a male-dominated space. Knowing is important, but not to expect any special favors or any special arrangements. We got to be objective, meet the requirements, the standards that's needed. Especially when it comes to the RSAF flying, there's no discount. You have to meet the standards and just do our best.
Would you say you need to even even more to prove yourself? You think?
I wouldn't say do more to prove myself.
Yeah.
For me, it's about doing my best. It's always like that. Yeah. So I'm not competing against anyone else, but I set my own goals and I want to achieve to the best of my ability. And at least at the end of the day, I'm accountable to myself. Yeah.
Right. You were also involved in some rescue mission, humanitarian missions.
Yes.
You were in Aceh
Yes.
during the tsunami. And now we have almost 80 SCDF firefighters in Myanmar after the earthquake. Could you share with us your experience in Aceh then?
Yeah.
What was it like being in a rescue mission?
Yeah. I remember that was some 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think last year, December, it was commemorated the 20th anniversary. It was a very surreal, feeling watching the documentaries that were done by CNA. And I remember the day when the news broke. It was just hard to imagine, hard to believe that something like that happened, of some destruction of such massive scale. And I volunteered to be deployed because my squadron was we were doing search and rescue, and I've done several missions, search and rescue missions before, so I have some experience, but never something like this scale of a humanitarian disaster relief operations. So I raised my hand. I was actually based in the headquarters at that time. I said, I want to come back to join the squadron and go out there to help the team, because my squadron was actually split to take care of two operation theaters. One is in Aceh and one was in Thailand. So I was deployed to Aceh and I was there for 2 weeks. And when we flew along the coast, our mission was to fly, because we were based on the Navy's LST, the tankers, and our mission was to fly to Aceh Airport, daily basis, run missions, pick up the supplies, the medical supplies, food supplies, and fly to the various villages that still had survivors, land helicopter and give them the water and medical supplies. And I remember one day we even sent in a satellite dish, or not satellite dish, but a telecoms dish, because there was no communications.
Right.
So we managed to send in one, and the technicians went to set it up. And after that, people got signal on their mobile phones. So these were the missions that we did, and there were still many aftershocks during that 2 weeks that we were there. In fact, there was one day when we were in the aircraft in the morning about to take off, and then there was this huge aftershock, and we were all shaking. In the whole aircraft was vibrating, and when we were sometimes in between the missions, resting in the ship on the tankers, and there were huge waves that really sent everything rock and roll inside there. So yeah, I remember that time. It was very uncertain. Every day was different, and we just basically received the orders and the missions, and then we were doing our delivery trips. And what struck me most was to see, the entire coastline. Everything was destroyed. It was just sense of death in that.
Was it
place.
hard to see that, death and destruction?
Yeah, it was. I mean, as I speak now, I think that the images are still very, very clear and very in my head, and just very sad, very sad. But there were a few structures that were still standing. A couple of mosques were still standing. And we saw some young children still there. So those are very sad moments, and I think this is something that no one wants things like that to happen. So everybody came together, worked really hard. The RSAF sent Navy, Army, Air Force troops on ground, worked closely with the Indonesians counterparts, some other forces from various countries, And I think at the end of the day, the very beautiful part was how everybody just work so closely together, regardless of their background and who they are, and just want to help the people who are in difficulties. So it was very good to see the CNA documentary when they talk about how certain families have actually overcome the challenges after 20 years and they rebuilt their life. So I thought that was very nice to know.
Right. I don't think it's normal for any human being to experience what, all the death and destruction. How do you deal with such things, when you're back? I'm sure there is a lot of emotions for you, having to be on the ground and seeing, death so close by every day. How do you manage it coming back home?
It took a bit of time to sort of decompress. So I think probably about 1-2 months. But by and large, I think because of I mentioned earlier on resilience, that helped me. And support from friends, families, members, that's also very important. So in general, I think I still managed to cope quite well. And of course, our team from the squadron, our teammates, our fellow colleagues who went together, there's a support group as well. So that helped a lot to get through, what some people call post-traumatic syndrome, PTSD. So for me, it wasn't that bad actually. I think for some of the troops who had to go on ground to collect the bodies or to clean up some of the areas, that was much more difficult.
I will think that the rescue mission from the SCDF to Myanmar now, they very on the ground,
Very much. I always respect very much the SCDF folks.
Yeah, and I think it is also particularly a tough time because of Hari Raya. I think more than half of them are Malay colleagues.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wonder, it must be quite tough because it's almost like a life situation also, right? Because there's tremors and all these things, and then you're going to deal with that, and then you have to focus on your mission. Yeah, I wonder for any kind of your experience that kind of, I guess, is similar to that. Where it's almost life, and you have to still continue with that thing, which I don't think is clearly not a comfortable situation to be in. Yeah.
Is you have to really be very focused on what you're there for, and you have to trust that we have the full support for SCDF, the whole SCDF team behind them, the whole country, that we are very proud and very grateful for our SCDF heroes who always represent Singapore at the front line and help out in this humanitarian mission. This is not the first one. They have done so many. Yeah. So I really wish them that they keep themselves well, be safe, and also be able to handle the stress. I think the stress is real, and because you're racing against time to find the survivors, and the ground conditions could be still unstable.
Right.
So it's not easy, and of course the physical strain on them, the hard work, long hours being on ground. So our SCDF fighters, please take care. We're all behind you, and thank you for doing this very difficult work.
Yeah, I mean, spoke about stress. I wonder what's the a daily life for you back in Aceh 20 over years ago. What is your a day in the life like? How's your hours look like? I can imagine it's like a non-stop action kind of thing.
I won't say it's non-stop because for flying, we typically do 2 long missions, one in the daytime and in the morning and one in the afternoon. And then we do get rotated between the different pilots, different crewmen, because safety at the end of the day is still number one, still very important. So, but when we fly out there, it's really long hours. I remember because when we had to fly from the ship to Aceh airport, it's about an hour's flight. And then when we reached there, it's chaotic on the ground because there were so many different groups, different forces from different countries, and different groups of people were trying to send in the logistics item. And then there was this fuel truck that was going around to give fuel, gas, aviation gas to the different aircraft. And in fact, sometimes you have to just sit there and wait for that fuel truck to come and refuel before we could fly back. And there was one night one afternoon, didn't catch the fuel truck in time. We had to stay back in the Aceh airport overnight there.
Right.
Yeah, and we slept in the aircraft. Yeah.
Must be quite an experience.
It's quite an experience. Yeah. The next morning I woke up. I remember I was sleeping in the cockpit, and then I got woken up because it was shaking. It was a aftershock. So yeah, it was quite a unforgettable experience, I'll say.
Right. Do you miss, I guess, flying helicopters? It's because it's such a badass thing to do. Yeah.
Every now and then I will dream about it. Yeah, especially.
Oh, you dream about it?
I dream about because we were doing other than this humanitarian mission, we were on standby, always on standby for search and rescue missions. So in Singapore, around Singapore. So there were times when we get activated and scramble, we really run and dash out, get our gear and dash out, take off and go out for the mission. So sometimes sometimes I may just dream about, there was this activation, I'm about to run off and grab my gear and go off and take off. And before that, I wake up.
And you go, I'm a civilian now.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that was that kind of adrenaline that's maybe still in my body that after these years.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
How do you, I guess, channel it now? That kind of, of course you do a lot of sports, exercises, but in terms of, I guess your role as an MP, how do you keep up with that? Oh, I have so much. You say pent up energy or something?
I would say pent up energy. Yeah. I think it's actually now because I have my day job, and in the weeknights, weekends, most of the time I'm on ground in Sembawang. So days can be really long and it's back to back. So that kind of both physical and mental demands on me is something that I would say is not usual for most people, but maybe because of the the sports and being in the military, I'm able to handle that kind of fairly onerous kind of demands on the body, and also in one day could be switching across 5-6 different types of events or different types of situations, and just have to be able to multitask and be able to adapt very quickly to different kind of situations.
Right. Just wanted to ask you something quick. I think there are new faces on the ground that we spotted. There's a possibility of Chief of Army joining, possibility of ex-AIC CEO, Mr. Dinesh Vasu joining. And people always say, parachute, paper general. I don't know. I mean, you are from from military yourself. What do you make of all these things? I'm sure you face some of these questions before when you enter.
For me, I was flying helicopter. We fly low. We don't even carry parachute. We will land the aircraft. But jokes aside, for me, I had spent 10 years or so in the private sector, the corporate sector, before joining politics. So for me, I have experience on both sides, in the military as well as in the civilian, in the corporate world. Yeah.
Do you know these potential new faces well? Do you kind of work with them before?
Yeah, some of them. For example, Dinesh, he's CEO AIC.
Yeah.
So we've done many programs with AIC on ground, and I know him from some of the events that were being run in our area. Yeah, very nice guy.
Is there anything particular about military leaders that make them suitable for, I guess, governance?
Well, the military is a big organization with
Yeah.
tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people you have to take care of. So I think, at least I speak for myself personally, it's a very good opportunity, a very good, in a way, training ground to handle that scale of planning and operations, logistics, and not many jobs or companies in the corporate sector will give you that kind of exposure, that kind of skill. And if you are looking at leaders who are taking a big organization view, as a national leader, SAF would give a good exposure from this aspect, I think.
Because of the sheer number of...
The sheer challenges, the
challenges
complexity,
right.
it's not that easy
Right.
to make sure that things run smoothly, make the right policy decision or the operation, execute it, effectively at operational and tactical level is not easy. So the military does give leaders that kind of opportunities to execute.
Right. I think before we wrap, I just wanted to ask you one last question. On TikTok, there's a lot of hidden gem stories or videos about certain neighborhoods. So I wonder what's a hidden gem of Sembawang. Do you know of any you could share with the viewers?
Well, in Sembawang GRC, we just opened last weekend, 2 weekends ago, the phase 3 of our Bukit Canberra, the outdoor gym.
Oh, right.
It was really fun.
That.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an obstacle course.
It's a bit like a SOC.
SOC, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's very good for the boys, and if they want to get themselves ready for NS, it's a miniature SOC in that sense.
Right.
And besides that, there's also some water features. I think it's great for young kids go into the water features, whether in the pool with their parents, and enjoy the hot springs water, and also just the sheer largeness of nature, of greenery around it. It just feels very relaxing.
Right.
Being out there, breathing fresh air and having fun. And after that, go downstairs for a nice hawker center meal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's no longer going to be a hidden gem anymore.
Yes,
it's going to be quite popular. But yeah, thanks Li San for joining us.
No, to mention, my pleasure.
Yeah, hope to see you on the ground very soon, because our guys have been always working very hard for the next couple of, I guess, weeks.
Yes, take care.
Thank you so much.
It'll be exciting times.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Xing Qi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This podcast is powered by Audio Technica.